actually make my second layer of if statements basically my prepositions, so around and at, and then I can say within this if statement, if u dot includes house, then we're going to alert the house looks like it hasn't been occupied for some time. So we're getting a little bit more description. So the house looks like it hasn't been occupied for some time. Else if u dot includes tree, alert the tree is massive and has a knot at eye level. Okay, so now we've told our user, and at this point, after we do these alerts, let's play around with this, and I'll show you how this works. So we run it. You find yourself in a clearing. There's a house here and a large tree. The path that leads to the east, you see a waterfall in the distance. So we're going to look around, and it gives us the clearing again. Now we're going to look at the house. Okay, so now we're seeing the words look, at, and house. Now watch. The house looks like it hasn't been occupied for some time. Now watch what happens here. When I close this, it's going to end my program because I'm not calling anything else after this alert. So what I want to do actually is I want to find, I want to call clearing again in order to remind my user where we are, right, and ask them for another input. So the house, so we'll run that and let's look at the house. House looks like it hasn't been occupied for some time, and then it takes us back to the base description for this scene, and we're going to look at the tree. The tree is massive and has a knot at eye level. Okay, so we're going to cancel out of this. Now we probably want to handle the case where the user looks at the knot. So let's do else if u dot includes knot, when we're going to alert to the user, it looks like if you twist it, you can take the knot out of the tree. Okay, then we can actually have another else statement. So now we're not going to look anymore. Now we want to handle what would happen if the user wanted to twist that knot. So else if u dot includes twist and u dot includes knot, and then we're going to handle this situation. So if we twist it, we can take the knot out of the tree. Okay, so our user is going to twist the knot. We are going to alert you twisted, you twist the knot and it comes free, showing a cavity in the tree. You look in and you see a golden key. Okay, so at this point we probably want to prompt our user, right? They're twisting the knot, it comes free, and we see a golden key. And we also want to handle the case if the user, we're going to prompt the user, and we're going to take an input. So we want to do, let's use a different letter for our input this time since we're already using U. Let's use, I don't know, V, okay? Var V is equal to prompt. If V dot includes take and V dot includes key, we want to alert you take the key and put it in your pocket. Okay, so now in this case, now we've got this key. We don't really know what the key is going to do yet. We'll figure that out as we work our way through the rest of this story. But what we can do is we are alerting our user that we're taking the key. But it looks like what we need to do, first off, we need to prompt the user up here with not. We'll play with that a little bit later. But what we need to do is we actually need to keep track of whether or not we have this key. So let's set a variable, and we're going to set the variable has key, and we're going to make the variable false. Okay? And so we're taking the key, we're putting it in our pocket, and then we're going to make the variable has key true. Okay? So what this is doing is keeping track of whether we have found the key. Now, so we've included, we've taken care of the situation where we found the key. You take the key and you put it in your pocket. And now we want to take care of the situation where U includes go back. And that's not how you do that. You have to use these brackets. Okay. If U includes go back, then we just want to go back to the clearing. Okay? And if we take the key and put it in our pocket, we can also go back to the clearing at that point because we don't really need to see the cavity in the tree anymore. Now, we now have created a little bit of complexity in our story here, and we have to think a little bit about that. So we've got a little bit of a problem. I didn't set my closing brace there. Okay. If you have those red X's come up in the side of your screen, that means that there's an error in your code on that line. The I's are usually missing semicolons. Semicolons are optional in the JavaScript language. You don't have to put them in. If you want to get rid of all the I's, if you're like that, you can do that by just following the instructions when you mouse over those things and adding the semicolons in. Okay, so we have a situation now where if we're looking at the tree, right, the tree's massive and has a knot at eye level. There's going to be a case where we could look at the tree after we've already gotten the key. So how do we want to handle that situation? Well, the way that you handle it is by adding in another if statement. So else if u.includes tree, if has key is equal to false, then we want to alert that the tree is massive and has a knot at eye level. Else, if has key is equal to true, right, we want to alert there is a hole in the tree where you remove the knot. Okay? So this will take care of that situation where you have already gotten the key. And you can use variables like that to take care of those kinds of situations and to create alternate pathways and alternate descriptions in your story. So now we have a couple of situations here where we haven't reloaded clearing, and that will cause problems for us. So I'm going to add those back in. Any place we have an alert, we're going to need to reload a prompt statement. And the easiest prompt statement to reload is the clearing prompt statement that we start our function with. So just reloading clearing will start us from the beginning and basically tell us where we are and what we're looking at. Okay, so we've taken the key. Let's see, has key is true. Okay, so let's run this and let's see what happens. Find ourselves in the clearing. There's a house here and a large tree, path that leads to the east, and you see a waterfall in the distance. So I want to look at tree. The tree is massive. It has a knot at eye level. Twist the knot. Actually, I want to look at the knot. It looks like if you twist, you can take the knot out of the tree. Okay, so let's twist the knot. You twist the knot and it comes free, showing a cavity in the tree. You look in and you see a golden key. Okay, so now it's prompting me. I'm going to take the key. You take the key and put it in your pocket. And then it gives me the main scene description here. So that's a lot of complexity and a lot of things that you can do with just a few lines of code. And so I wanted to kind of play around with this a little bit more. So let's cancel out of this. Okay. We should probably add some else statements to some of these. So we want to handle the case where we where the user is asking us to go somewhere and we can't actually go there. So let's do that. Let's say else, and then we're going to alert you can't go there. And then we're going to let's go back to the clearing. Okay. So now if I run this and I want to say I'm going to go to Mars, it'll tell me you can't go there, and then it'll go back to the clearing. And then let's take a look at look, and we're going to go to look at, and in any other case here we're going to use else, and we'll say alert, I don't know what you're asking me to look at. And then we'll go back to the clearing. And let's run that. So look at the moon. I don't know what you're asking me to look at. Okay, perfect. And then we also want to take care of the situation where the user is putting something in that we haven't really handled at all. So we're going to redirect the user. And so we want to have an else statement at the very end that alerts our user. I don't understand what you want. Please try again. And so now if our user types in something random, it will tell the user that it doesn't know what the user wants. So that's pretty good. We've got quite a bit going on here, right? This is a pretty complicated system, but and it does quite a bit, but it really doesn't take up too much code. And if you figure out how you want your words to relate to each other, and then use those nested if and else if statements, that will make this a lot easier. Okay, so this is the first video, In the next video, we're going to take that